a bit of a rush, but as I'm walking down the street, I thought I'd make a bit of a video and basically the tactics, I guess, of our Champions League semi-final defeat. Obviously the other things you could talk about, when we're making excuses about this season, are those two, personnel. So injuries and failure to recruit enough bodies in the transfer market, and the sort of back and forth push between how much our sort of catastrophic injury list couldn't possibly be anticipated, and how us continually getting to the end of the season a bit tired with insufficient players absolutely is a consistent, repeated problem that's happened several times. It's kind of boring. There's no point in talking about it. We should have all done things different. I might make a separate video about the players I'd buy next season. I think there's some good options, but I find the transfer market sort of rumour mill very boring. The tactics and the development of tactics. It's funny, we've had lots of managers who've sort of seen their tactics develop directly impacted by European failures. And there's been ups and downs to that. I think that famously George Graham, post the Heysel ban, when idiotic Liverpool fans got us completely unfairly banned from Europe as a whole league, and punishment should have just been theirs. It was their disgusting behaviour at Heysel. When we finally were back from that ban, I remember that my first ever European game, seeing us destroy Austria Vienna. It was classic George Graham, back four, high press football. Alan Smith playing brilliantly as a target man up front, got 4 goals. I remember on the same day, I think Dean Saunders got 4 goals in the UEFA Cup, and our Liverpool-centred press led with that, and all their back pages got on my tits quite badly at the time. Not that I hold grudges. And then the next game, we were eventually comprehensively tactically pulled to pieces by Sven-Göran Eriksson's Benfica, who outlasted us, outpassed us, and eventually a sort of trequartista Isais found space between the lines, took us to bits in extra time. It was 3-1 after Kevin Campbell got a goal out there. Is it Colin Pates who scored? Madness. George Graham, more and more after that in Europe, changed. He always wanted his back four to stay intact, rightly so, but then more and more, it's quite funny actually, seen as boring, not dissimilar to Klopp football. Push the tempo, front three, all have to work, 3 centre midfielders who basically are workhorses, who sit there and make tackles. Quite often one of the centre midfielders would be a man marker on the best opposition player. Klopp didn't do that. Hillier, Keown did that job quite a lot. It's mad remembering Martin Keown playing in midfield effectively. I don't know if he had a position. His position would be follow some poor sod around. And we became more and more negative as a team as that formation, as that option translated into our league setup. And then the dynamic early teams of Wenger, again with that same back four intact, eventually gave way more and more to tidy passing teams in the middle to stop us getting taken advantage of in Europe. I remember a very crafty, I'd say dirty and cynical Valencia team under Rafa Benitez, sort of declaring against us with about 20 minutes to go and just refusing to play football, wasting time, lying on the floor, rolling about. There were enough cute teams in Europe that we couldn't deal with that with our hard running English style, which was a theoretical 4-4-2 but could change into 4-3-3. Overmars didn't do much defending and Ray Parlour would have to check in. I think that Arteta's development hasn't been... he's had the advantage, I guess, of starting from such a low base, such a disastrously bad team. I know he won the league with, as people always say, as the naysayers say, with Emery's team. Had to switch to a back three, had to have, wrong foot wing backs, Maitland-Niles on the left, some strange formations to free up Aubameyang, who didn't want to do much running but was still absolutely deadly, and eventually Oba won it for us, killing City in a semi and killing Chelsea in a final. But those players, Ozil, Lacazette, the defenders, Mustafi, David Luiz, he got something out of them, but they were not the personnel he wanted. And it's this swing between personnel and tactics that I sort of intimated at the beginning. He wanted automisations, he wanted automatic play, quick passing, and instinctive hard work. You lose the ball, bang, you fight, go to war to get it back. That Pep Guardiola, first 2 seconds or 3 seconds after you lose the ball, being key thing. He needed to completely change the personnel. We're talking about automisations. I mean, when we first went into Europe with into the Champions League with Arsene Wenger, I remember we had the season of our home games at Wembley. Really got taught some lessons. There was a Barcelona team, Guardiola in midfield. Away, Grimaldi got sent off for whacking him. Enrique, another manager we faced in that team. Excellent team. Rivaldo, Luis Figo before his controversial move. But we also faced, I'd say, maybe a better team. Valeriy Lobanovskyi's Dynamo Kiev. And that side was absolutely automisation based. There was a famous, possibly apocryphal story about them having a kick-off routine. Bournemouth have been quite good at this in the last few years, where everyone ping, 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 ping has a set move. Strange kick, I think Bologna is the name. Said Nick Zeman used to love these. Overloads, set passes, bang, 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 find space. Anyway, one of these moves goes. Shovkovsky gets to sort of get back to him, out wide to Luzhny, somehow the spring back forward. I think Shevchenko, or Rebrov's supposed to cross it to the back post for Shevchenko. Anyway, ping, 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 the move goes. Rebrov gets the ball, looks up, Shevchenko's not there, so he doesn't cross it in, sort of cuts his side as a shot. Then apparently at half-time, Valeriy Lobanovskyi's going absolutely mental, screaming in his face. And he's like, boss, what am I supposed to do? I can't cross it to the back post. He wasn't there. He goes, you cross it to the back post and he wasn't there, it's him I'd be screaming about. The no-look automisation, ping, ping, ping football of Lobanovskyi. Now, obviously, we have these repeatable, recognisable moves that sometimes some of us, all of us, I think, see as over-planned, over-coached, taking some of the inspiration out of the game. I mean, everyone loved it when Declan Rice rejected the advice of Over to dink it in back post and instead smashed it in the top corner. I was talking to a mate about sort of military tactics, and about the rejection of over-planning and how the commanders on the ground have to be given more freedom to act. Oh God, there's some military phraseology for it that I can't remember. Lobanovskyi is one of the great managers, and that Dynamo Kiev team they only got a last-minute draw against us at Wembley. It was a bit of a joke game. I mean, they could and should have battered us. I seem to remember Adams making a couple of absolutely spectacular last-man tackles. Seaman making great saves to keep us in it. I think definitely remember the Adams tackle. Anyway, I think we need the different elements of this. I think we saw Luis Enrique's Paris Saint-Germain team, unsurprisingly after his success with Barcelona, had these tiki-taka elements, but also this reliant on La Masia style small playmakers, as Wenger ended up stacking our post-Vieira, post-Petit teams with. I was talking the other day about that last semi-final that we lost. I think we had, Fabregas and Nasri with, the season before, which was a proper league title challenge. If we'd beat Man U away, Howard Webb hadn't fucked us in that game. I know he eventually gives some decisions the right way around, but it's always to even it out. He was always in control of who would win, Webb. But that's that. We still had Riziki and Aheb as well, other, La Masia style players. That's why Barcelona eventually picked him Hleb up as a theoretical Iniesta analogue. Unfortunately for Hleb, Iniesta never got injured ever, so it was a bit of a failed move for him. That midfield, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, Vitinha, it's a super La Masia squad. I think the way that they play without the ball is quite different from Pep's teams. The way that they seem obsessed with getting to see the numbers. I remember when I did my coaching badges and trying to manoeuvre yourself so you can see someone's numbers was always about strikers' movement. That's what you want to do. You get wide to make inside out runs. You want to make your burst when you see the defender's numbers, i.e. when they can't see you. Blindside runs. I feel like off the ball, that was the way that they did it. It's like Jurassic Park, the Velociraptors. One catches your eye and the other one gets you. That was the sort of whirl, the three-man spinning midfield. Kvaratskhelia was supposed to be a risky signing because he didn't work hard enough. He worked like a Trojan. Nuno Gomes was never alone. He was flying back, always covering his arse. But that midfield whirl, the way their trigger was when players were on the half turn. They particularly went after Partey, Odegaard. The minute that their head is faced one way, the pressure comes from the other side. So hay fever killing me. It was very, very clever. This sort of triangle spinning around them, three nodes, like a sort of midfield garrote constricting around us. And that caused us so many problems in the first game. I thought we were really clever with how we dealt with in the second one. And what we did was just, normally you want this transitions between, you want a big pitch when you have the ball and a small pitch when you don't. And we were just like big pitch all day. In the first 20 minutes, so brave, leaving people one-on-one all the time. But we ended up with, now normally when our free fullback was originally Zinchenko, and now it's Lewis Skelly. Poor Lewis Skelly had a tough game. Reminded me a bit of Gibbs in that Man U game I was talking about, treading on the ball. He made a mistake and it sort of early and it affected him. But anyway, strategically, tactically, it's normally the left side fullback for us who is in the strange inverted position. In this game, he was, as per usual. But on top of that, we had, and whenever he did that, what normally happens is Gabriel checks out and becomes a left back and a passing option. So this is the job Killior's been doing recently. I feel that Gabriel gets right to the touchline, maybe sort of backs himself better to fight his way back in if we lose the ball. I think Killior's a tiny bit more narrow, but he still goes out there. But we were doing the same on the other side. We had Saliba pushing up like a right back, fighting their press as an option out there, but chasing the ball when they had it as an option out there, not changing. But instead of Timber inverting, he began to switch with Saka. So the central person would be Saka, and then taking his spots, Timber going out wide. This really, I thought it rattled them on the ball and off the ball in the first 20 minutes. I thought that, I've talked loads about Arteta needed to take more risks. We absolutely did that. We really, really went for it. I mean, it's funny, there's nothing new in this world. When you look at the formation, it could have been a pre-Herbert Chapman, pre-WM, 2-3-5 type formation, almost 6 up top. And it was brilliant. It overwhelmed them. The difference was when they overwhelmed us with their spinning whirl, their Mikel-esque whirl, with La Masia super coach players. What was his name? The northern coach who worked with Hugo Mikel, Jimmy, whatever, sort of ended up in jail during the war. Coached all the Bohemians, can't remember his name. Brilliant, historic coach of footballers, coaching technique. We managed to counteract that with power. It was a classic, clever version of English power dominating continental technique. I know it's a silly thing to say because the players are from all over, but yeah, it was a great first half hour. It's a pity we couldn't get the goals we deserved. That header, Decker's. If Decker's headers that in, everything's different. But yeah, all over them. The save from Odegaard. It's funny, classic English qualities. I mean, the big long throw, we delapsed it into the box. Perhaps inspired by Semenya killing us with that. That faded in effectiveness. I mean, some people were going, oh, they worked it out. They didn't work it out. Bloody Thomas couldn't throw it so far after he did about 5 of them, was my interpretation. Maybe whoever our long throw taker is, next season we need to build up their biceps. It was strategically a brave performance. Ultimately, look, over the 2 legs, we dominated XG, but they've got a great goalkeeper, and that's part of what helps you win things. They scored low XG chances, but having shots like deflect. Fabian Ruiz had 60 shots in the Champions League. That's the first one that goes in off a slight deflection. It's brutal. But there was a time where Odegaard beat a man and beat another man, could have shot twice and didn't. I've talked to death about where Odegaard is. I hope we can get him back up to... I see him as a potential Ballon d'Or winner. That's his level. So people talking about getting rid of him, including my immediate family, can all jog on. He's an absolute top player. And Dan Bergkamp closer to home. Some of these players had imperfect seasons and they kick on the next year. We just need to get him back looking a little bit more hench, a little bit more weight, a little bit more handsome, a little bit more happy. He'll be back to the level. Congratulations to PSG. Luis Enrique is a great manager, a top man. He deserves it. I think Clive was saying that they don't deserve to win. Clive off Arsenal Vision was saying they don't deserve to win by 2. I agree with that. Chatting to your man Cecil of Ars TV outside the ground, who was saying that apparently there's a chance next season, or people are talking about anyway, the league table, the seedings, giving you home field advantage all the way to the end. That's always seemed a logical move to me. It's how they do it in college sports and all American sports, US sports. Whatever. That game wasn't a game defined by the order in which the two matches were played. In some ways, they were quite similar, mirror images of each other. But I do think it would be quite fun to be able to celebrate in North London when you win second legs. Anyway, whatever, not the point. It's been a great European season, and a lot of the reason those games have been so good has been because teams go at us. And the reason we failed in the league is low blocks and mid blocks, which is what we're going to face next season. So we've got problems to overcome, strategically, tactically, in the transfer market. But ultimately, Europe-wise, this has been a great season. One big one to go for the girls. I'm very much looking forward to that. That is an almost impossible task. They've, picked someone's... I was describing it to someone as a bit like playing the peak Barcelona team when they had Iniesta, Xavi and Messi. It's maybe even better. They're even further ahead than that, possibly. It's a very big, long shot for us to get anything from that game, but who knows? The ball is round, anything can happen. Liverpool away this weekend, that should be an interesting contest. Neither team quite in the mindset we maybe were anticipating when that was drawn. Obviously, we might just played each other at Anfield. I might be still there, still in Liverpool, waiting for the game. It was not to be. Liverpool didn't make it that far, and we didn't make it far enough in the league for this game to matter, which was our main target. Keep the league alive till Anfield. We failed that by miles, by weeks. Yeah, I'll make another video talking about the players I think we should buy. Possibly another one about the amazing meals I've had on this European trip. What a European season it's been. But yeah, those are some thoughts on the tactics. Bloody hell, it's over 20 minutes long. Come on, the Arsenal.